What's going on now? Hold on now. Hold on.
Who told you? 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 You what? God design.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's up with my board buddies? So excited to have y'all today. Got a very important episode. We're gonna be talking about some very important topics that's dear to my heart. I feel like breeding and genetics is important in understanding. But first of all, how's everybody doing today? I'm live in Cleveland, and it was a great day. Got the yards cleaned up. The snow melted. It was 53 degrees today, and in Cleveland, you get it 53 degrees and some sunshine. You know, you're happy about that. The weather is breaking. We had just came out of a big snowstorm. I don't know if y'all remember last time we was talking about the big snowstorm. Is the day that's how the weather changes in Cleveland. It goes from one extreme to the next. We had 53 and it melted all of the snow, but then it's getting ready to snow again tonight. You know how it is. Things change rather quickly, so that's why we gotta always be on our toes. That's life. Life changes in a heartbeat, and that's why we ain't got no time to waste. That's why we're gonna get to these points. We're gonna get to the points. Let me adjust this a little bit. We're gonna get to this subjects. What I got to talk about is very important, and I don't never want to. I want this. You know, this is gonna be here as a reference point for everybody up and coming. What's going on with my people? Let me see what's happening here. Yeah, that's much better. Now I can see. Yeah, so like I was saying though, with the dogs and the weather, things change in a heartbeat. And that's why we want to make sure, you know, we're getting this as evidence. This is information that you can always reflect on. You can always come back to 15 years from now, YouTube, which I expect to still be here. If my babies or my grandbabies, if I ain't here for whatever reason, I don't know how it could go. And if I ain't here, you can always come back and check. And this is going to be, I'm putting this on the record, and I want people to be able to have some reference points. I mean, I'm trying to give back from all of the let me see what's going on though. Hey, what's going on? What's happening, everyone? Okay, we'll go get to the Boerboel pups. We got some down on the ground. We got Boerboel puppies on the ground coming up. We got litters available now. We got real exciting litters coming up for the spring. And so let me get back to this. I want to make sure that yeah, so we're back on track. I don't want to get off track, but yeah, puppies though there. We got some nice ones on the ground now, and got an update on one of our. Oh, look at that dog, y'all. Can you see him? Let me see. Yeah, it's a little. We gonna hit. That's young Shaka Zulu, y'all. 7 months old, 139 pounds. And I don't know, it's very few words to describe my excitement about this dog. This is one of our young pups that we produced from Outlaw and Pancake, and very exclusive litter there, very exclusive breeding. If not really for the average person can handle this type of dog. This is a very extreme dog, and it's rare that you have Boerboels of this caliber, this quality. And I don't know what's going on with my face, but I guess it's gonna focus in. But yeah, this is him, and he's extra special. We're really excited about that dog. And he's 7 months old, 139 pounds. But look at the physique. I mean, he got the grown up dog physique. Look at the chest already, just like his daddy, with the big shoulders and you know how we do. You know what we looking for. Evidence of physical capabilities when we see our Boerboels. And that dog, he got it. He only 7 months old. And just look at the physique. Look at the physique. And you already know that he came well socialized, extremely extensively handled. So he's got the temperament he's looking for. He got an owner that understands everything about relationships with dogs and bonding with them. And this dog is going to be, look out, something special right there, Shaka. We've been watching him very, very closely ever since he was a pup, like when he first came out. So we're going to get to all of that. So we're talking about today in dog news. We found out in Norway, they have banned the breeding of the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel and the English Bulldog. Wow. Banned it as it's like illegal. It's a crime because the dogs are is not able to live a life without experiencing pain or discomfort. That's the level of seriousness that it has got to with those two dog breeds. We're going to get to how that relates to our South African Boerboel. We would never want something like that to happen. How could that happen? When we breeding these dogs hands-on with these dogs every single day, and we got a standardized selection method. How does this happen? We breeding dogs. We looking for our best friends. I mean, we can talk about some extremely popular dogs. The Cavalier King Charles is one. A dog that's like a Fifi Foo pup. That's in very popular among royalty, and even in England and Europe. The dog got popular because, like, you know, King Charles had the dog, so there's like a dog amongst royalty. And it was like a high ranking status symbol. Same thing with our Bulldogs. You know, the Bulldogs was a dog that we love. And I think that in my experience, this is what I have been saying this whole time. One of the things that I'm always concerned about is the inbreeding of these dogs and the breeding of closely related dogs, or breeding of dogs in a closed gene pool. And that's something that we're going through right now with our South African Boerboels. And we're going to get to how all of this, what are we going to do about this? That's what we got to talk to. I want to talk to you all about. Yeah, we got red puppies. I'm going to talk to you all about how we got into this state. We don't want our breed to go this way, and what we can do about these things that's happening with these other breeds, and use them as examples for our dog breed that we have, the South African Boerboel that we love the same way. It's a popular breed. It's newly standardized. And when you have a newly standardized breed, you know, our dog breed was selected from 80 dogs. Okay. So before I get to that, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let me explain to you what the theory is of the reasoning why the Cavalier King Charles and the English Bulldogs are suffering the way that they are, but why they are suffering this way. And it comes a little bit of history behind the Bulldogs. If you don't know, the Bulldog was a standardized breed, and it became popular in 1860 as a show breed, and it was recognized by the American Kennel Club in 1886. So we got roughly 100 years of standardized dog breeding. Okay, and when I say standardized, it's within this closed gene pool, a family of dogs that mimic or have closely resemble a gene pool, a standardized, a written standard. So these dogs all look a certain way. and they bred just strictly based on that. So that is the history on. That's when the dogs first started. Our South African Boerboel, on the other hand, was standardized in 1983. Okay, so we are already 40 years into the development of the South African Boerboel, whereas we're looking at 100, about 140 years of development with the standardized English Bulldog, and that's relative to the. So we can use the English Bulldog as an example of a fit breed that was going up against bulls. We're talking about a breed that has extreme courage, that's loved and sought after because it's a symbol of courage and strength and nobility. We're talking about one of our favorite breeds, one of my favorite breeds. It's a symbol of a lot of football teams and mascots represent. People will call themselves bulldogs and guns. They got the bulldog gun. So it's a lot. It means, bulldog represents something. And then we get to this point, 140 years of this modern or standardized method of breeding dogs. And this is the result of that. It's been banned in Norway, right? That's huge. It's controversial. They had this documentary that came out that was letting people know, the way that these people have been doing this. This came out in 2008. It's called Pedigree Dogs Exposed. Excuse me. So Pedigree Dogs Exposed was shedding light on these issues, and it also named the Cavalier King Charles, which is another breed. And so these dog breeds end up banned. 90% of these dogs all have to have C-sections when we're talking about the English Bulldogs, right? English Bulldogs, 90% of them are born from C-sections because the heads are too big. And we already are starting to see in the Boerboel breed tons of C-sections, right? Difficulties having puppies or whelping, delivering puppies the natural way, right? So that's something that we got to be mindful of, right? We got to pay attention. We already seeing health issues, SAS, subaortic stenosis. That's a heart issue. The brachiolactic with the faces pushed in. I told you already, I done lost 2 dogs. I take my dogs out and I have my way of testing them out for their fitness. And I done lost in my career 2 dogs on these runs. They have breathing issues. And I say, remember I had showed y'all this dog that I was talking about, Dizzlebone. Let me see here. How do we get to it? Hold on one moment. I got it better now. I'm getting better at this, y'all. I told y'all about my boy, my main man, a dog that I had, a alpha. And you see this wetness around. I don't know if you can see the wetness. Look around his paws and the tongue is heavy, like he heavy panting all the time. And he would get hot real easy. That's one of the ways that the bulldogs are passing away. 2010, they had banned the bulldogs from even flying. We were looking for it. Look at Alpha's head. He got that shorter head, pushed in muzzle, more shorter blocker head. And he come from some of the best breeding, most popular breedings dogs in the game right now. This is a dog I brought in to use as an outcross because my philosophy is to breed to the best bloodlines unrelated to my own. I done did enough line breeding in my career already. So now I'm working towards more of a breeding to the best males that's unrelated to my own dogs. So that's my philosophy. I like the genetic diversity. I like being able to pick dogs. I like the things that go along with hybrid vigor. If you don't know what that is, you can research it. And when you crossing bloodlines, and the black dogs right now, then, and this is why I feel like those dogs have a lot of value to this breed, and why we should be using them, and why we should be including them. So let's get I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna get to talking too much and getting off a subject. Let me get back on topic. Let me get my thing back up, because it helps me remind me of what we got going on. But that ain't it. Hold on now. Give me 1 second. There we go. So we're talking about the management and genetic management of the South African Boerboel breed, right? So got a question in the comments about the SABBS pedigree, and why don't I'm gonna go ahead and break it down, since we in this arena, and we on the subject of the organizations and whatnot. Okay, somebody asked the question. No, I'm doing mine's with the National Kennel Club. It's a U.S. based organization. Do we have his pedigree? Is he SABBS? No, we don't get down with the SABBS any longer. We have originally started out when it was the SABT, but they evolving and ever changing with their standards. And I'm not going and chasing nobody down to get my dog scored. I feel like it's just it's a bunch of some money making scam, and I ain't into getting scammed. And I can see if it has some merit, and that's one of my issues with this whole SABBS and the NABA, and they're not really selecting the dogs based off of anything other than what they feel is the desired look, and it's based off of somebody's personal opinion. And you can see like one person's opinion varies from the other, and they all supposed to be experts. We don't have no accurate way to measure a dog's true value, in my opinion. And that's why I do what I do at the fitness. That really paperwork doesn't really matter to me, and I'll explain it further. I'm gonna go ahead and give you some. I mean, I got evidence to prove what I'm talking about also. So we're gonna I just make it real simple for you. Our dogs register with the AKC and the NKC in cases where we're using the black dogs or dogs that's not accepted by the AKC. And because of that, let me see how I do this. Hold on, give me a second now. Now, see, while I talk to you in the meantime, while I'm getting this situated, what everybody that's watching or looks at this, I want y'all to understand how this process, what this is all involved with the SABBS and the NABA and the appraisal system. What they want you to do is they want you to have a membership, which is like $100 a year. And you get a special price for members and a special price for non-members. And so they always want to encourage you to become a member. And then what they do is they require you to bring your dog to be evaluated by them. It's just a visual evaluation, and they're going to give it a score based off of their opinion or affiliation with whoever they desire to win, or whatever, who making them the most money for the day or whatever. And I got evidence to back this up. I'm not dead. Well, this is my theory. You know, I know for a fact that it's biased towards the people that run the organization and host the dog shows and whatnot. And I'm glad somebody answered this question. I don't know. Thank you very much, April. And I want to let me get into my thizzle though. Hold on. Let me just do this real quick. Hold on. Because of this, what they do is they tend to favor their own organization, their own affiliations, right? And I can back that up by what I'm saying. This is kind of like a buddy club. It's a lot of politics involved. And what they do is they tend to favor their own dogs. And I went ahead and downloaded this form that they had, the appraisal results from NABA. It's another, they got fed up with the SABT, and they started up their own organization 2015 and 2015. And you can see here straight off the back, got a big green red flag. You look at this dog here. This on this sheet that has all of the dogs. I'm gonna go ahead and make it bigger for y'all can see. on this sheet, we have all of the dogs that was scored in 2017. Everybody, what they do is they set up these appraisals. I had talked about how I did the appraisal. I had set up my own organization, and I went around and I was scoring people dogs on my own, similar to what the SABBS. But I see what I was learning from that, I didn't like it, and people are too interested in a pursuit of just puppies, just putting out puppies and not just quality dogs and producing and selecting. I'm looking at this more. My breeding is process is more of a science experiment. So we're talking about this Yanaba. If you look here, you got a big green red flag. This dog is Africa Oyster Iron. He scored an 83 0.7. And what they do is they go and grade each dog based on what they feel is the desired look for that at that time. And these score results show the dog's name, the owner's name, the sex of the dog, and the appraisal score, and at the age that they did the appraisal score. So with this record, let's take a look at this record here. Africa Oyster Iron. It was a dog. Africa is the kennel name, and that's how a dog name is presented on the pedigree. So if it was a dog that I was bred by exotic Boerboels, it would have exotics Eastern Iron. Africa is like the dog's family name, first name. So that's an imported kennel from South Africa. So for whatever reason, Tariq imported. He felt like the dogs in South Africa met his desired wishes. He thought his dog was good enough to bring to the appraisal for he would clearly when you bring a dog to appraisal, it's for breeding because you need the registration for your puppies and you would like to have the dog evaluated for breeding. And they gave the dog an 83.7. Now this is a dog that's at 18 months. The minimum age is like 9 months. And so he's pretty mature. Africa Kennels produces some really nice dogs. Let's go along down and find out the highest scored dog. The highest scored dog is Whispering Creek Leopold. Whispering Creek Leopold. That's 2017, owned by Todd Lloyd, male. He scored 96.9. He was 24 months. So he was 6 months older than the lowest scored dog, which was they also did this dog here, Klein Sepha, an import dog that's owned by Brian and Nassaroff. I don't know, I can't pronounce the last name. And then another imported dog. So we see the three lowest scored dogs in 2017 were imported dogs from some of the premier kennels and breeders of South Africa. Cabaret Boerboels also sent their dog over, got an 82.1. The highest scored dog is flat out just named Nina. That probably would be an Allen's, Virginia Nina. Female scored a 94.9. So we see like a 10, 15 point swing, 10 to 12 point swing, and across the scores. Who is Whispering Creek and who is Allen's, Virginia? These people are the organizers of the SA of NABA. They are the ones that own NABA. They are the ones that put the whole organization together, those kennels. So they put their dogs up top, and it's like, come on, seriously, you're not even being objective. You're not even being objective. You're not scoring the dogs based on nothing other than their affiliation to the breed. You feel me? So I don't, and I done been to the things. I work hard with my dogs, and I know that they look good. I mean, I know that, and they did very well, but it's always a point or two difference that they're going to show some favoritism towards their political associations, affiliations, if that makes sense. And I feel like worse than that though is the fact that the Saba and Naba, they're not really promoting the health and longevity and fitness of the breed. What's gonna make the dog really last and be a legend in the game and go down in history as one of the most fittest and athletic dogs in the world, one of the strongest and most powerful. It's gonna go the way of the bulldog if we keep letting them. My bloodline ain't gonna go that way, and because I'm testing them through the fitness, and we're putting up our own test. We're going to have our own testing system where we're going to be evaluating the dogs based off of I feel like a good indicator of with the dogs, a good indicator with the dogs of a fitness and quality is, can the dog run? Can the dog move? And you see with the bulldogs, one of the things that they can't do, modern fast forward today, because I feel like it's a very valid dog to look at, because the bulldog once was like a gladiator. You know what I'm saying? And now we go from a gladiator dog, one of the most extreme dogs known to man, to a dog that is outlaw breeding because they feel that the dog cannot live a pain-free life. The dog cannot live a life without pain. And this is the country of Norway or Norwegia. That is, if it's a country or if it's a continent. I don't know if it's a state or a country, but the country, I think it is a country. Makes no difference. It's against the law. If you go there and you have a dog and you breed it, you're going to get locked up. That's how real that it's done became. You're going to get penalized. You're going to get fined. This was once the most fittest dog, the most suitable dog for going up against bulls. Right now, we're talking about fast forward to today. We're talking about our South African Boerboel that's supposed to cover the distance of a plantation. You understand? I've seen a plantation. A plantation is not a farm. That's why they got different words. A plantation is like 50 farms. You understand? My granddaddy told me on his plantation, it was on the plantation that his family lived on was 20 families lived on the plantation. Okay, so we're talking about almost like a whole community. We're talking about a whole community. The dog is supposed to be able to cover the distance of a plantation, 10 to 12 miles, 10 to 12 miles in a day. You know what I'm saying? On foot, alongside. So, with that being said, we must have a test that's more valid, right? If we use other breeds as examples, because when I came into this breed, you know, I had told y'all early in my career or early in my dog experience, one of the ways that I got to know a lot of dog breeders was I was a youngster going around in a newspaper, and I was going to looking for puppies, pit bull puppies at the time. And because remember, my dog got whooped, and I wanted to get a dog that could handle himself, would not get whooped. And I was going to train him up, and he would be unstoppable. That wasn't going to happen for my dog. So I come with, like I said, and then if you fast forward to today, my dogs ain't taking no L's. You know what I'm saying? And I put them up again. Like I ain't no dog fighter or nothing like that. But I'm talking about in terms of they are capable of protecting themselves. My dog got scuffed. And yeah, you know, he got whooped. He was out doing his breeding. You had to go watch some of my other episodes, and then I'll explain to you about my boy Bear and what happened to him. But what happens with these dogs is they'll lose their abilities. They'll lose their abilities, and what we see in them, that is the strengths of them. If we are not actively pursuing those traits and characteristics, and I feel like survival of the fittest is a way of a natural selection. If the dog was weak in the wild, then it would not survive. The dog wasn't suitable for these. So I was talking about the pit bulls, all right? So I had when the pit bull breeding, one of the things that they do is heavily inbreed. You know, they'll find a dog that they like, you know, like let's say Mayday or something like that, and then they'll do like half brother sister inbreds, or even in some cases full breeding, father to the daughter, and then breeding that to the. You had to research some of those pedigrees, excuse me. And I only mentioned that to talk about the breeding philosophies that we know to be successful, to know that maintaining certain genetics. We can look at hunting dogs also. Those dogs are selected based off of their ability to better hunt. Or we look at working shepherds. It's not so much the color type. In 2012, between 2012 and 2016, right after they made out this thing with bulldogs about this documentary and the Cavalier King Charles about the way that they was being selected based off of their look, the desired look. Between 2012, they looked at how many 12 DNA tests that the breeders took, and what were they testing for. They tested 2,400 tests. They looked at 2,400 tests from 2012 to 2016. The only thing that they was testing for was color. 62 of the tests was testing for a genetic life-threatening disease that related to the kidneys. Everybody else was testing for the color. That's leading you to believe that they are surely interested in nothing other than breeding dogs for the look, because 2,400 test breeders sent in DNA tests, and they were only looking for the results of the color. Now, we keep going by that way because I mentioned that because of heavy inbreeding. Now, if you go transfer over to working dogs or dogs that are traditionally bred for a purpose, designed for function, designed to perform a task successfully or assist and aid. So that's what the dogs are for. Even if it's just strictly companionship, the dog has to be healthy in order for it to be nothing more than a companion, because we get our dogs and we love them. And then if they don't, if you don't want to see your dog suffering, you don't want to see your dog in pain, you don't want to see your dog feeling bad. So what do? You want to get your dog, even if you buy it for nothing other than the fact of just being there for you and just being by your side. You want it to be a living, happy, and healthy life. So you get the dogs that. How do we arrive at and maintain health within our breed? It's very important. It's critical. We already see the dog breed having issues, subaortic stenosis. We got hip dysplasia. The dog's not breeding naturally. Low fertility rates. Low litter. Low amounts of natural births. Dogs requiring C-sections. That's all indications of a breed beginning to fail. We got to do more with our selections as breeders, and to maintain. We need to be looking for more unrelated dogs. And if you look in this breed, I got bored researching pedigrees way back in the day, and because I got turned down, people didn't want to divulge this information. It wasn't like just willing to share how are they breeding their dogs. And I think that's a fundamental mistake, because people, it's information. If you care about the dogs, if your goal is to produce high quality dogs, and why not share the information that's going to aid somebody else to maybe produce a dog that's unrelated to yours? And then you can use those dogs can be, if this information is good as information. But the problem is people want to be greedy. They want to try to feel like capitalize on somebody's ignorance. And that's a fundamental mistake. I feel like we should be more communal with our information and share more. And if we don't do this now, then we're going to fail with our with our breeding in the long term. We got to make sure that we covering the selection process and trying to breed dogs. See, in this breed, most of our dogs are all going to go back to this original 80, so to speak. 80, you think 80 dogs, wow, that's a nice number. Well, in Trillian, it's not really 80, because they only bred to you got to remember, popular sires, the ones that were winning, the ones that seemed to be producing. Those dogs started to become more popular Then we started to see it proliferate. And that's how this dog breed has started to evolve. Because when I first started, the dog was very different from the Boerboels that you see today. The Boerboels that you see today, they are more, there's a modern style. It's a modern style. They bigger, you know, they tend to breed towards the trend. That's what breeders tend to do in within a breed. So whatever dogs are popular, whatever dogs are winning, whatever dogs are selling, that becomes the desired or the new style that they're looking for. And so we've taken all of that in consideration with what we're doing, and we want to share this information with other people, because if we don't, then we end up with this syndrome, a bottleneck, a genetic bottleneck. And it was a term that I wanted to share with y'all. I can't think of it right now off the top of my head, but and I think that it's thanks, man. Appreciate that. So it's about longevity. In my opinion, it's about something that's gonna be able to stand and look back on. Cause see, I'm not even really thinking about right now. I'm thinking about 10 or 15 years from now, right? And how would a state of the dogs be? And I've already did tight line breedings and close breedings. And what happens is, like I said, the dogs end up starting getting smaller, you know, but I'm actively selecting for, like I said, that running and that drive and that athleticism. So I know that that type of dog, even if it is not that big, its circulatory system, respiratory system, all of his organs are functioning at a capacity that's going to allow my dog to run a long distance, recover from that strenuous exercise or activity, and then come back and be able to do it again and again and again and again for years and have healthy litters. For I did not start experiencing C-sections until now. Y'all, you know, I got a long history within the breed. Where I done had a whole bunch of dogs and sold a whole bunch of dogs and started with a fresh genetics and started all over. So in my newer breedings, when I started using the modern dogs that were popular, that's when I started to have C-sections, right? That was something that I went maybe 12 to 14 years, no C-sections, or very few C-sections. And not that it wasn't producing litters. Yeah, so you know, I broke it down for y'all. I feel like I explained quite a bit. If I missed anything, if anybody got any questions, I'm gonna take some questions now. People ask how Johnny asked, how do I go about purchasing one? You gotta head over to the website, boerboelpuppy.com, and you can see our litters that we have available and what we got coming up. Excuse me. We got some exciting litters on the way. Outlaws having some more puppies. That's something that's a super exclusive. He is one of the extreme examples of the breed. He just is a man of a dog. He is no joke. He's a real Boerboel, not like these Fifi dogs. And not outlaw Boerboels. Somebody named their whole kennel outlaw Boerboels. No, those dogs are not affiliated with our dog Outlaw. Those dogs ain't got nothing to do with my boy. You understand? And big up to the dude, like the dogs or whatever. And no, I ain't knocking nothing that you got going. And so I appreciate y'all for joining today. And I'm happy to share with y'all. I feel like it's our duty. You know, I done got a little bit older. Y'all see the grays. So it's okay though. I'm trying to take it, and it's does, you know, it's all good. But I started out when I was in my 20s, And if anybody's starting out like me, I want them to be able to have a point of reference, because I didn't have none at all. And they was letting me know. I mean, it's a very tight circle. That's what you got to understand about these organizations. They real cliquish. They real cliquish. I'm gonna give you another example with the Sabs. The lady from the Sabs comes over, and she scores her dog. She's scoring her own dog. She give him the crown of the #1 dog in the USA or the world or something. So it's like, come on now, you got to be, come on, that's okay. How where do I get in? Where do I get in? Where do I fit in? So it's not cool. But yeah, you got to check us out on boerboelpuppy.com for information. What's up, bro? You know it, man. I'm trying to let everybody know what's going on with the dogs and why we do the things the way that we do with the NKC. They do have program shows. Like I said, with the Bulldogs, I told y'all you can compete with weight pool. You are welcome to bring your dog to the weight pools or any of the hunting. They have they're active working competitions. You can look that up at the NKC. A lot of functional hunt type of activities that your dog can participate in. And that's really the bottom line with the paperwork, is what does it allow my dogs to do? And at the end of the day, all it allows your dog to do is participate in the functions that is hosted by the breed. And they don't have any way of measuring the dog's physical capabilities. It's just somebody you come pull up to the thing and they looking at dogs. They looking really, I wonder, are they looking at dogs or looking for their dogs? You understand? Because they looking at the pedigree before they go out there and score the dog. Why are you examining the pedigree? You're supposed to be examining the dog. You understand? So they always going against they didn't even follow their own rules, right? And then that lady tried to tell me not to breed the dog that I imported from the people that have one of the most famous. She's line bred on one of the most famous dogs. This was in 2007. And I had good experience though, because that same dog that she was pregnant at the time, produced the #1 dog bred in the USA 2009. So if you look at and it's on the record, nobody else in the USA produced a dog score higher than Machine Gun 187. That was my dog. I produced the dog. I put him up there for everybody to know. Oh, 139. Okay, y'all. For the record, they were, man, he'll let you know it. He was 139, 7 months old. Straight up beast. You see the shoulders on that boy. Look at them shoulders on that boy. Come on, it look like he been doing number push-ups or shoulder press. Come on now. Thanks, Reggie. But for the clarification, straight up though, and see this. If you look back at those videos with this, why I'm saying, look at what this dog is capable of, more so than just about his appearance. If you look at the way that the dog's mind is working, like way he's handling situations, this is what we desire for the breed long term. So how do we maintain this? Through active selection for that. If you go look at the pit bull breeders, you gotta wonder, they were doing some insanely ancestral matings. How do they maintain this breed and is able to do what those dogs do? And I'm talking about they do some intense training. I was always fascinated by how much weight pulling and having the dogs jump up, shaking tires, and just the muscle and the impressive the appearance on the dogs. But what put me off from the pit bull, remember I told you that my dog come up missing when we had the pit bull when we was boys. And we don't know what happened to the dog. We came home. It wasn't even our dog, my dog at my house. It was my cousin's dog I put at his house. Auntie said the dog was gone. She said she don't know what happened to the dog. And we was looking for the dog and the dog was gone. Crushed me as a boy. That was my his name was Crook. We was getting him ready for the crooks and he got by the crooks. It was a nightmare. It hurt me, crushed me. So I go and start doing my homework. I'm never gonna let this happen again. Never gonna let this happen again. that's how I started getting into the Molosser breeds. But I use that as an example, the pit bulls, because those dogs is some of America's favorite dogs, and they have survived through the hundreds of years, the same evolution as the bulldog. But how did they survive and still be some of the best dogs in America when the English bulldog is also being bred along the same times as the American pit bull terrier, supposed to be similar in its purpose and design? It's supposed to be a fit, courageous, virtuous dog, and what they represent is the bulldog. It's very comparable. Real game dog men call a bulldog a bulldog, a pit bull a bulldog anyway. That's what they really call a bulldog. It's bulldogging. And then why is it basic first cousin or similar relative or a dog that's selected from original? Because what they did with the standardized dog breeding was they have this closed gene pool, right? And all of these dogs end up being related, right? They might not be a full brother and sister, but when you look at the dogs, like let's say it's 180 something dogs in their pedigree, or 180 something lines for dogs, and if you study like that far back into the generations, thank you so much, April. But yeah, if you go look at, let's say you look at go, and I always would go when I first started doing my pedigree research, I would study back all the way back, like maybe 180 dogs back. And what was amazing to me with the Boerboels is I kept coming up with the following dogs: Lorena Mac, Lourina Mac. It's like one of them dogs that we saw earlier today. It was scored a 96.5, really high score dog. Almost every single Boerboel pedigree that I ever researched goes back to that dog. So our breed is already very closed gene pool. And that's why I wonder, why do people get so upset? They exclusive. It's science is telling us that we need to change the way that we have been doing this, because it doesn't work and it doesn't lead to healthy and effective and functional working dog breeds. That's not how you're going to be able to maintain a fitness in a breed through this artificial selection of dogs that's based off of strictly off the look. We already see the breed starting to fail. And what's really sad is some of these ethical breeders, they got non-disclosure agreements. Some of the big breeders, non-disclosure agreements in their contracts, right? So that means you get a dog from them, and then you got an issue with the dog, you ain't even allowed to report it. You ain't even allowed to, make that public information, which is something that people should know. That's something that other breeders, information that they could use. If your dog have an issue, but nobody won't be the first to admit, hey, I'll let you know what's going on. Sometimes every now and then with our dogs, they will have a entropion. You know what I'm saying? Where the eye, and that's common in bulldogs, but we cover that in our health guarantee, and it's thoroughly explained the process, what you can expect from us in the event, a situation that happens. So you covered if that happens, and that's known to occur with wrinkle-faced dogs. It's like, it looks like a cherry eye, and they have entropion in their eyes. And so we also have been seeing immune system issues within the breed. So that's something to be aware of. That is a big red flag. You got to be up on the game. And I'm not talking about with my own dogs, but this is something that I have known, have known that is a issue with our breed through my experience in running through the circles. But I'm gonna take some questions, y'all. It's getting late. I've been working and gotta stay busy with these kennels and cleaning, and it's a lot of stuff going on. And I've been up since yesterday. If y'all got questions, we can take. I'm gonna take them now. I appreciate you, April, for interacting with us, and Monroe, everybody that made comments, and Reggie, Letitia, hey Bay, Johnny, Carl, appreciate y'all for interacting with us, and Annette. And if y'all got questions, we taking some now. But bottom line, we're gonna do a recap summary. Did I cover everything? Somebody had asked the question why I don't get it. You know, and there's nothing wrong with people that, I'm not knocking nobody that takes their money and gives it to them and don't, runs around the country driving to the appraisals. And I feel, and now don't let nobody tell you, especially to like, this is back in the day, but I remember how they tried to discourage me from having dogs and breeding dogs. And they didn't know that I was going to have me some puppies anyway. And vaginal prolapse also is a problem for sure. Yep, that's another one. Yep, and that's even, they know that that's an issue, right? Vaginal prolapse, hyperplasia. That's where the dog's uterus pops out the back. They know that's an issue. They even wrote that as acceptable in the original breed standard to a degree. Ain't that interesting? Now, that just goes to show you that they favor, okay, so-and-so, let's say ABC got a dog with the prolapse, right? Hey, man, don't forget to, they know that these dogs can have that. Don't forget to write, we're going to accept that into the breed standard, because I'm breeding dogs. Some of my dogs might tend to have that, and they don't have no issues. They can still have puppies, and then it still have puppies. So write it in there. We want to make sure that just in case, man, because it's got some valuable genetics or whatever, whatever excuse that they make for having the dogs. So you end up with those dogs having those issues, and it's written in the breed. So that goes to tell you right there that the people are automatically going to look out for their best interest, the organizers, of the organization. If anybody got so I hope I explained that thoroughly. This is about evaluating breeding stock. I think that is one of the most important things that we need to consider as breeders going forward. How we're going to champion, what do we champion? What do we feel is worthy of giving high credentials? I know one thing for sure, our test is going to involve some running. And I feel like that simulates the dog's natural behavior, where exactly, if the dogs don't start working, if they don't start working their dogs, I'm gonna put that up there. But I feel like with the Boerboels and dogs in general, working dogs, one of the things that they cover, one of the things that's important with them is the fact that dogs migrate. So wolves, what they do, or even wild dogs, they hunt a certain territory, and then what happens is the prey animals in the territory, they're like, wow, okay, I ain't know wolves was out here. You know what I'm saying? We need to hightail it and get on across town. And we gotta get to somewhere where it's safe. We lost Bambi. Bambi took an L, y'all. We lost Bambi. Bambi went down, man. I think the wolves got her. We got to get out of here. It ain't safe. So what they do is the deers lead. They go on head on across town. And then right behind the deers is the wolves. Say, hey, man, the wolves like, hey, we starving out here. So it's pancake. So we got to get out of here. We got to go get us some chow, man. The deers done left, and I ain't ate in a couple of days, y'all. The last thing I ate was Bambi. We're going to get on. I think the deers, I smell them. They sound like they heading across town. So we need to get on across town. Across town, if you look at what a deer and a wolf can cover, you know, they're covering up to 20 miles, and when they do this migration. And I think that's why the wolves is gonna always be able to. The wolves have always been here. They're gonna always be an apex predator, and that's we expect the last. Also, right, weight pulling is definitely gonna be involved. We as a mandatory requirement. Your dog should be able to pull a certain distance over a certain amount of with a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time. So I'm gonna close out today with the final. As always, y'all, make sure we're gonna make the most of every single day, and try to do it as much as you can. You know, if you like me, I feel like you got to give it your all. Everything that you do, put your all into it, and try to give it your best, because you never know when you're gonna take your last breath. And everybody got an expiration date, and we're not gonna waste no time. So we like to laugh and have fun, but at the same time, we're gonna want to also make sure that we're gonna also make sure, hey, there go my bae. We're gonna also make sure that we keeping it productive. All right. So don't be sitting around wasting your time, y'all. Or don't waste too much time, because we don't know how much time we got. I'll see y'all next week.
No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you got a deal run up. No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and now you got a deal run up. Old gang, old man, old school, young jam.